In the traditions of yoga back from India, they really teach you that asana or movement is only one of 8 limbs. So there's this whole other range of yoga that teaches you to think about your mind and your breath and your values and your ethics and how you interact with the world. And I really took that into everything that I do. My previous experience in marketing, both from a smaller agency side and into corporate life, absolutely influenced how I present myself and how I operate my businesses, because being often the only queer person in a workplace really taught me to not be afraid to express myself, but also knowing that like a lot of eyes were always on me. So it's never that I felt that I had to revert back, but it was that it became very apparent in workspaces when I was the only queer person or one of the only openly queer people in the office, that everything I did seemed to stand out a little bit more. I wasn't fitting within this mold of what is expected in an office. So that carried over when I started my businesses. So yoga is what I knew the most. Actually, for the first 8 months of owning the yoga studio, I was still working my corporate job during the day. And then when I would log off, I would do virtual yoga because we were at a time when we couldn't be open. And I have seen a lot of change in the yoga community over time. There are a lot more yoga studios than there are cycling and pole. So it was exciting to kind of make our stamp there and help the other studios go beyond just our words. I think what was really important for me was that action and taking those steps to show people that consistency over time. So essentially I took what I did in yoga and expanded into everything else. Even if they don't realize they're doing yoga, we're thinking about being mindful when we're on the bike. You're listening to your body. You're not competing to be the first in class. You're here to enjoy yourself along the way, to breathe, to be present, all of these concepts that we learn from yoga. And then from there, again, I wasn't expecting to open a whole other one during the pandemic, but I saw an opportunity to go into the pole dancing studio and think about people of all gender identities, of all races and ethnicities, that they too could dance and move their body and swing around the pole and enjoy themselves, and that they can bring in all these concepts across the studios. Honestly, it kind of just happened by accident that I kept continuing on to all of them. But through them, I really weave that concept of yoga and mindfulness into all three of the spaces. Being a young queer business owner, I think I was often looked at by banks or creditors or landlords as less than, and maybe not even intentionally so, but I often felt that I had more to prove. When it came time to open my businesses, I had to jump through a lot of hoops. The way that we marketed ourselves here and the way that I present myself as being a queer-owned space, or the first queer-owned space, or the only queer-owned space, etc., could be limiting in who might come and spend money here, right? Because we're very vocal about what we believe in, what we stand for, and what we don't stand for, and who maybe this space isn't for. We wanted to make sure that we protected ourselves and our community members and our staff members, that like if you were coming into the space and not being supportive of a queer person or a person of color or someone that maybe intersects both of those, that we didn't want your money. So that, from a bank or a creditor or a loan type standpoint, can feel like the target demographic is a little bit more limiting. And so I hit a lot of no's. Why would you brand yourself in that way? Why would you market yourself in that way? Why does it matter? And for me, it's everything. Like, it's exactly what matters. It's who I am, it's who my community is. And so it was important from the start to like make that really widely known. And starting from the ground level of having no members to where we are now, I had to really brand ourselves in that way, and how we use like social media and how we communicate who we are on our website. Columbus is a pretty small city, so everywhere I go, constantly people are like, oh, like what you're doing is amazing, and how you stand up for different marginalized identities, like that made a big impact on me personally. And that's why I do that. I want everyone to come in here and feel very authentically themselves, whether you're teaching here, you're working at the desk, whether you're just a member of the community and working out here, I aim for everyone to feel very comfortable in themselves.